FBI believes that multiple serial killer truckers are currently on the loose, hunting for victims along American highways. Take a look at this map from the Highway Serial Killings Initiative database. The red dots show where remains have been found along highways over the past 30 years. Well, right now, the FBI believes at least 850 murders are linked to long-haul truckers.
We started noticing within our database a number of bodies along the side of the road. Victims kept coming up as prostitutes, specifically truck stop prostitutes, and one after another our main suspects or confirmed offenders were identified as truck drivers. They're extremely difficult to track down, and the mobility of their occupation allows them access to so many different areas of victim selection and then victim release locations.
When Frank Figliuzzi, a former FBI assistant director for counterintelligence, heard the disturbing data, he realized that he needed to zero in. So he spent a year riding more than 2,000 miles in a semi to research the subculture and find answers. Well, that research culminated in his new book, Long Haul: Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. And he writes, quote, "Part cowboy, part fighter pilot, part hermit. Long-haul truckers glide along the edge of a certain seam in the fabric of our society, the seam that separates their reality from ours. Killer truckers exploit that seam." Well, the book explores some notorious cases like that of Robert Ben Rhodes, the man known as the truck stop killer. He was finally busted in April of 1990 when a state trooper pulled him over in Arizona. But that trooper was not prepared for the shocking discovery he made: a woman chained inside of the truck's cab, screaming, covered in red welts and lacerations, with only slippers on her feet. Well, police soon learned that that man had built a torture chamber in the rear of the semi. It is possible he killed as many as 50 people. And this author joins us live. We're so glad to be speaking with him about more on his new book. Thank you so much for making the time tonight.
Thank you, Natasha, for helping get the word out.
Yeah, so the FBI says at least 850 murders are linked to long-haul truckers. Did you find any other troubling data in your research?
Yeah, the numbers don't get any better. So 850 roadside murders of women, mostly sex-trafficked women, but not all. And then there are 200 of those murders that are considered unsolved and active investigations. And when I asked the FBI, how many suspects are you currently looking at, the answer is 450 within the trucking community. In fact, 25 long-haul truckers are already serving time in prison for murders as part of this initiative, but that has not made a dent in the unsolved cases.
What makes it so difficult to pinpoint these murderers, to get to the bottom of these cases?
You know, these 18-wheelers are essentially mobile crime scenes. They'll grab a victim in one jurisdiction, they'll rape or murder her in a second jurisdiction, and they'll dump the remains in a third jurisdiction. So that's challenge number one for law enforcement as they try to determine who they have on their hands in terms of a dead body and putting a name with the body, let alone identifying who's done it. And then you've got the nature of the victims. They are almost all sex trafficked. That means that the families may not even know that they're missing. So it's tough to get someone to champion their cause with the law enforcement community. And that's part of what I hope will happen with this book.
Yeah, certainly. This forgotten population, I think that a lot of times they do not get the light that they deserve on their case. You know, and obviously most truckers are not serial killers. We have to say this. Can you speak about the experience with the trucking subculture that you found, going all of those miles in a semi-truck? What did you learn about the isolation, the general lifestyle, and the implications for a serial killer?
Yeah, I put my investigator hat back on after retiring from 25 years in the FBI, retiring as assistant director, and I came away incredibly impressed with the hard work and dedication of the American trucker. In fact, in part, I dedicate my book to the stalwart American trucker. The data in terms of their impact on the economy is astounding. We know that Grocery stores would run out of goods in 3 days if truckers stopped. But there is a dark side to long-haul trucking. And I ask the question, nature or nurture? Is it a predilection to kill and to be violent against women that attracts some people to the long-haul job and certain kinds of trucking? I go deep into that. We know that studies show that 44% of truckers are exhibiting signs of major clinical depression. 20% of them binge drink 5 or more drinks at a sitting, and 10% of truckers say they drink alcohol every single day.
That is so important. And we're almost out of time, but very briefly, what is your biggest recommendation for the FBI as they investigate all of these unsolved cases, all of these murders that may be linked to these long-haul truckers? Out of the research, what is your recommendation?
As an investigator, I tried to narrow down that pool of 450 suspects by focusing on the question of corporate drivers versus owner-operators, and specifically, what kind of truck are we talking about that might lend itself to being the killer? My recommendation would be that they focus on the type of trucking and the nature of the truck being driven.
It is a fascinating topic and such a deep dive. And look, the book again, Long Haul: Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. Frank Figliuzzi, I really appreciate your time and insight tonight. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.